Welcome back to another edition of Average Joe News Co. Today we're going to be covering a story about a fake 7-second gravity apocalypse and NASA's plan to stop it that turned out to just be a conspiracy theory, as well as a story out of Washington where a man was charged with a bizarre arson for burning down his neighbor's house with a torch. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's go.
Our first story today, a viral social media rumor claimed that Earth would temporarily lose its gravity for 7 seconds yesterday, August 12, 2026, which would supposedly cause massive destruction and potentially tens of millions of deaths. The rumor centered on a supposedly leaked $89 billion NASA project called Project Anchor, which allegedly existed to prepare for the event. There's no evidence that Project Anchor actually exists. The theory claimed that the gravity failure would somehow be caused by two gravitational waves from colliding black holes intersecting near Earth. Scientists say this makes no physical sense. Gravitational waves do not switch Earth's gravity on and off. NASA explicitly debunked the claim, explaining that Earth's gravity is determined by its mass. There was a solar eclipse yesterday, but that does not cause Earth's gravity to disappear or undergo any unusual change. The rumor became particularly viral because of the date of this eclipse, giving the fabricated apocalypse story a believable looking date and a spectacular real event to piggyback off of. This has got to be one of the stranger conspiracy theories that I've heard.
And then you can protect your head from the sun.
Society is always good for a paranoia-induced apocalypse scare at least once per decade by my calculations. I like that the scientists were immediately like, this just does not make any sense at all. Even if it were true, it just wouldn't happen that way. It's comforting that even with all our advancement as a species, the sun gets blocked out for a day and we revert to, holy shit, the sky is falling, the end times are here.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody calm down.
If gravity were switched off, ideally you'd be inside and this wouldn't be much of a problem. You'd stick to your ceiling like Spider-Man. If you were outside, this would be a real problem. In my opinion, this was a real missed opportunity for all the men on Hinge out there who could have prepared, found a basketball court with a low ceiling, set up a crash mat and a camera, and gotten video evidence that they can in fact dunk a basketball with some careful and tasteful and skillful editing.
Good morning.
On to our second topic of the day. A Port Orchard, Washington man was charged in connection with a bizarre arson. Authorities allege the man was riding a golf cart with his pet corgi while carrying a propane-style torch around the property. He began lighting the house on fire, and a neighbor tried to intervene when the suspect, named Sean Hinson, said, "It's okay, I'm with the fire department."
Mr. Bobby, there's no smoking in here.
Oh, it's all right, darling. I'm a volunteer fireman.
In court filings, Hinson said he ingested marijuana edibles and Jack Daniels. A responding deputy alleged in the same filings that Hinson was unable to maintain a clear and direct conversation. The fire left the man's house as a total loss and destroyed his new car as well. First off, this is sad that the homeowner lost their house from a random act of arson, but also it is objectively funny because of the wackiness. The male urge to light things on fire is truly a powerful force. Having said that, fireworks or wooden yard furniture is typically a more reasonable choice, and deciding to burn your neighbor's house down is probably more indicative of mental illness than a primal urge connecting us with our caveman roots. My conclusion is this may have been the classic set the fire and then be the hero who puts it out scenario, but the Jack Daniels weed gummy green goblin devil voice inside was just simply too convincing.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind.
Moving on to sports, we're going to continue with our standings predictions. We have the AFC South today. Starting off with the Houston Texans, I have them winning the division with 10 wins. They're a good offensive unit, quarterback and wide receivers. They have a good pass rush as well as pass coverage. Their weaknesses are their offensive line, their running back core, as well as overall depth. I think they'll have enough this year to win the division just because the rest of the division doesn't seem that good to me. And I think their defense will carry them through and their offense will do just enough. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them at 8 wins, slightly lower than their expected total. Trevor Lawrence was good last year. The wide receivers have potential, even though Brian Thomas Jr. is coming off a rough season last year. They also have a good pass rush. rush. Their weaknesses are a lack of a good running back with Travis Etienne being gone, as well as limited defensive depth. I think the Jaguars will take a step back this year. They were good last year, but I just don't see them reaching that same level this year. The Indianapolis Colts, I have them also underperforming this year at 7 wins. Their strengths are their offensive line stability, as well as a very, very solid running back in Jonathan Taylor. They also have an efficient offensive scheme. There's not much defensive depth or running back depth. Plus, they have a lessened wide receiver room with Michael Pittman Jr. leaving. I just don't believe in this team. I think they're probably going to be one of the more disappointing stories coming off of a good season, good rebound season last year. Finally, we have the Tennessee Titans in last place. They have 3 wins their last 2 seasons. I have them at 5 wins this year. They have a revamped wide receiver room, good defensive line and front 7. Their weakness is their offensive line and their secondary. They have an easy schedule this year, but pressure and vulnerability against good passing attacks really leave them in a difficult position. If your quarterback is constantly under threat and if you can't defend against good passing attacks in today's NFL, it's going to be really hard for you to win a lot of games. Moving on to weather, our natural disaster would you rather scenario today is tsunami versus wildfire. I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to say tsunami purely on the chance that you could get to high ground. I know wildfire may be more sporadic, but it seems to me that there are always specific sections of wildfires that actually get hit where other ones seemingly are spared. It just feels harder to evade than a tsunami to me. This might be a simple brain take, but if I have a boat or a jet ski, or better than that, a friend with a boat or a jet ski, maybe we can ride over the wave. Again, might be simple, but that's my rationale. It just seems easier to access that than a helicopter or a jetpack to get above the fire. That's been another edition of the Average Joe News Co. Thanks again for checking us out. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. Hit the music.